WHEN, WHEN.
Adult contemporary, one step beyond middle of the road. Playing rock, but not hard rock. They play the hits, but they just don't scream about them. There are 62 records on the playlist, divided into 4 categories, A, B, C, and D according to popularity. Class A songs are the top 15 hits, B are the next 15, and so on. And every other record is an oldie. The usual playing order would be to start the hour or half hour with a Class A record, go to an oldie, then a B record, then another oldie, and so forth. But there are no hard and fast rules. It's assumed the announcers are all professional broadcasters, so they already know what works and what doesn't, without rules. One way to describe the station might be, if it sounds good, do it. So traditional programming rules like not playing 2 female or male vocals back to back are being broken every day, sometimes even with a whole half-hour medley devoted to a single artist or group. There's a sort of controlled flexibility to the station. News, weather, and traffic reports coming up at the same times each hour, but the arrangement of the music and spots is left entirely up to the announcers.
David Cassidy, how can I
There's a heavy emphasis on personality here. The 2 stars are the morning and evening drive time jocks, who might even be called professional entertainers.
Of Central New York.
By the time I chase Manhattan, I'll be flushing.
They liven up the usual run-of-the-mill music and commercials with comedy bits you might find at a major station in New York or the West Coast, both of which markets have already worked in, as a matter of fact.
Just as we do, a chicken noodle soup and
WHEN.
Jingles, something it seems no self-respecting adult contemporary station should be without.
WHEN plays it like it is.
And WHEN has a pretty good assortment of them. They're used between songs, after commercials, as punchlines for gags, and just about anything else you can think of.
You're on a music weekend, together with WHEN.
There's one for the weather.
Syracuse weather.
Even disc jockeys have their own.
Jack Mindy.
And with a little bit of imagination, you can take
Mike Andrews.
put them together with
62 WHEN.
and the result,
62 Mike Andrews. WHEN.
and finally, there's the element of community involvement, which up to now, WHEN seems to have a virtual monopoly on in the Syracuse area.
The station that listens to you, WHEN.
It's 73 degrees at 5:30. Chance of a thunderstorm tonight.
Newscasts are one aspect of community involvement. The primary emphasis is on local news.
Officials for Syracuse Congressman
And WHEN reports news whenever it happens.
Wood in the WHEN newsroom with a special report. The grand jury has returned an indictment in the Judith Giannino murder case. WHEN News Director Vin Burke has a late report.
A 20-year-old Syracuse youth.
Another facet of WHEN's community involvement is its regular policy of editorializing.
WHEN radio editorial presented by General Manager John Patton. The national exhaustion and disgust over the war in Indochina.
Other aspects of community involvement include the daily traffic reports from Syracuse's one and only airborne traffic reporter,
All the way to 481 area, so
the call for action line,
A call for action special report.
WHEN. Call for action.
Considerable quantities of salt are
and
used
finally,
each winter
public
to
service
melt
announcements,
pavement
which listeners can call in themselves.
Alpha Epsilon Rho, the TV radio honorary of Syracuse University, presents The Last Laugh, an evening of comedy featuring our gang, Laurel and Hardy, the Three